minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically, standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today. But obviously, this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the Woke Farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
Really appreciate it. Of course, if it was a grand jury that did indict him, that's pretty unimpeachable. Bill Melugin, thank you so much.
I can't believe you did this to us. What are we supposed to do now? I have ballet class tomorrow. Who's going to take me? Who's going to my graduation? Not you.
Son, you gotta go. Be brave in this world. Don't let anyone see your scars. Son, you gotta go. Be a man in this world. You can make it if you try real hard. Don't be a lemon in a world of grapes. Eat your watermelon and be a better man than Don Lemon.
That is cinematic. Whoa. That is, I want to watch the next episode. I want to watch the next season. What happens? Is Lemon just a classic archetype deadbeat dad? Trapped in prison? Trapped by the system? Get out of here, your earpiece cable. Is he just trapped by the system? I'm trapped by the earpiece cable. What's happening with Don Lemon, man? Oh, man. It just sucks to be committing crimes in America and getting locked up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what is going to lead to little Lemon Boy to have a ballet recital where Don ain't there.
Gay black man in America.
Oh, is Don Lemon? What shall become of Don Lemon? Will he get squeezed in the clink? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll find out today, Friday, January 30th, 2026. Welcome to Free for All Friday! It is a glorious day. We actually have some glorious news for you, actually, to kick off the show. But Don Lemon gets arrested just right out of the blue this morning. Happened exactly 1 hour ago. Pam Bondi has sounded off. President Trump has sounded off. The administration is set and ready, and I got hot takes. Flaming hot takes. Flaming hot takes for Don Lemon. Because this is exactly what the left always wanted. It's precisely what they've always wished for. I mean that. I'm not talking about, creepy personal stuff with Don Lemon. What I'm saying is they're getting what they asked for. They're getting the America they asked for, and we're really excited about it. Don Lemon arrested for storming church. Judge finds probable cause in FBI raid in Fulton County Election Office. Terrence Williams joins the program after BTFOing Ilhan Omar. Got Ilhan Omar to crash out, along with Intelligence Chairman Rick Crawford and Wesley Hunt. What a rowdy show, exciting show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Okay, we got a stacked program for you, and we got some special commentary on Don Lemon. I've given a lot of thought about this, and I don't care. Yeah, I've given a lot of thought about this, and not going to cry about it. No, I'm not. If I was going to cry, I'd cry into my bond charge mask. I mean, you know what? If I am wearing something around my face and eyes going to bed, or the sauna blanket, I got to tell you, my wife likes the mask. I get the sauna blanket. You go and you lay down in the sauna blanket. You get a nice red light right before bed. So chill, so chill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you relax at the end of the day, at least how I do. It's also how you get that red light that you're missing if you're locked inside of a dark little studio all day. Bond Charge has incredible products, and they're good for you, ladies and gentlemen. It releases endorphins, it detoxifies, and it helps you with your stress at the end of the day, and I know that's something that I certainly deal with. Bond Charge ships worldwide. Get your products today. HSA and FSA approved, so that's a 40% savings. Plus, free shipping on every sauna blanket. 12-month warranty. Go to bondcharge.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny. Save 15%. That's bondcharge.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny. Save 15%. Let's go. Don Lemon. Okay. I got a couple of takes. First off, it's not clickbait. Don Lemon was actually arrested. Pam Bondi confirmed it. A bunch of people confirmed it. The White House is now dunking on Don Lemon. I think that's just glorious. Let's pop them all up. Here's Pam Bondi. At my direction this morning, federal agents arrested Don Lemon. Tarheen, Jean, Cruz, Georgia, Fort, and Jadel Lindell Lundy. These are real people? This is a Key and Peele sketch? These are real people? Oh, okay. All right. I thought we were going to get, what's this Key and Peele sketch with the NFL names, right? Yeah. Right. What's the one? Yeah. What's the one, though, that's famous that everyone says, come on, Klein, you got to help me out with that. What's the one that Hingle McCringleberry. That's the one person that's been left off the list here. Hingle McCringleberry. Yes, all right. Donkey Teeth. Donkey Teeth? Is that Don Lemon? Ladies and gentlemen, Don Lemon has been arrested. There are articles about it. It is real. The White House is now dunking on Don Lemon, and I am here for it. A couple of top-line things that I think are critically important in all of this. That Don Lemon was arrested because of a grand jury. So I'm going to break this down very simply, and I hope this goes viral because I've been giving a lot of thought about this, and the left is, again, getting exactly what they want here. And we don't have a Don Lemon mugshot yet. Give me that White House troll. Give me that White House troll. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, boys. It's in the chat, Klein. Gotcha. Klein. That's okay. That's for Don Lemon, bro. When life gives you lemons, arrest the lemons. And then they put the chains on the official White House. This now goes into the Smithsonian as part of the National Archive. It's the White House. When life gives you lemons, put chains on them. Don Lemon arrested. Okay. All right. Let's hop in here. A couple things off the top. I'm not going to. Let's go full screen on this because I got a rant. Yeah, we got a rant. We should make like a rant stinger, right? Where it's like we're just gonna rant. Could be like could be the nuclear bomb. Could be Don Lemon being squeezed in a press. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I got a couple of problems here because I see what the left is already trying to do with Don Lemon's arrest. They're trying to say that it's an attack on journalism. This is an attack on journalism. They did the same thing when we put Jimmy Kimmel in timeout. And the correct answer to that is no, nobody attacked Don Lemon. In fact, it was Don Lemon attacking Christians that were peacefully praying in a church. You were silent when our friends were being attacked. If you, of course, danced when Charlie Kirk had his neck blown out on a live stream. All of you goblins celebrated it when Donald Trump was shot in the head. And none of you have raised a single voice of concern for Nick Shirley, Nick Sotor, Savannah Hernandez, Cam Higbee, Andy No, and dozens of other independent journalists who are often attacked savagely in the street. James O'Keefe was told this week that they were going to come kill him. Direct death threats. They sent him his license plate number, make and model of his car. If you don't leave Minneapolis in an hour, we're going to murder you. Don Lemon has never received anything like that. Don Lemon has never had water bottles that were frozen thrown at his car. Don Lemon has never had bricks, rocks, sticks, milkshakes. That's what happened to Andy No. He had a milkshake thrown at him. What is a milkshake exactly? A milkshake is when they take a bunch of cement and they mix it together. So you have this brick of cement and they chuck it at your head. That's an attack on journalism. These are journalists who can't even travel anymore because there are so many death threats out there on them. Do you consider me a journalist? I would consider myself like sort of a commentator and talk show host and, you know, whatever, like just all around like movement energy guy, but whatever you want to consider it. We do some journalism, and we're going to be releasing our California fraud documentary this weekend. Well, you know, there's multiple people sitting in federal prison right now awaiting trial because they threatened my life and my family. And let's kill me dead. Graveyard dead. Not a single tear was shed for that. No, that's an actual attack on journalism. And you know the difference between me and you scum is that I would actually disavow that if it happened to Don Lemon. You know, if Don Lemon was being hit with frozen water bottles, attacked, told that we was going to kill him. Let's say Don Lemon traveled to, I don't know, like a very, very Republican district, okay? Don Lemon travels to Sweet Home, Alabama. I don't know. What's the most Republican district in the country? Yeah, Don Lemon goes to MAGA country. This is MAGA country. Don Lemon literally goes to this is MAGA country, where the Nigerians are wearing MAGA hats. And they start attacking Don Lemon. I would be the first person to call that out and say that's repulsive behavior. I hope that the people that committed crimes are punished. Because Don Lemon shouldn't be hit with bricks, rocks, sticks, milkshakes filled with cement. Don Lemon shouldn't be had frozen water bottles thrown at his car, smash his windshield. That shouldn't happen to him. You know, it's crazy because, like, I would allow that. Don Lemon doesn't raise a single voice of concern when that happens to actual independent journalists. So get out of here with your BS. Oh, it's an attack on journalists. Yeah, you only care when you can get power out of this. And ain't no attack on journalists. Let's go down the chart here. This is a grand jury. I'm directing this at the party that every single one of you have a tweet up right now that says no one's above the law. No one's above the law. No, above the law. Oh, okay. Well, a grand jury in a dark blue state filled with Democrats, no doubt, just said that there is probable cause to arrest Don Lemon. When given the evidence, the grand jury did not say no. Don Lemon acted in the clear. The grand jury said arrest him. So, wait a second. Is Don Lemon above the law? You're attacking free speech. You're trying to silence him. He was just committing an act of journalism. Okay, that's going to be the next thing they say. I'm guilty of journalism. Really? Were you guilty of journalism on January 6th? We have multiple friends of the show. I have employees that were cataloging what was going on January 6th and got arrested. I have friends of the program, people who come on our airwaves. Steve Baker is just one of many examples. He's a reporter at The Blaze. He was arrested. He would still be facing prison time right now. Were it not for Donald Trump's pardons. He was a journalist on January 6th. They said, no, you were part of a crime. You're going to prison. That's what they said to him. And that's what they did. They arrested him. Get me Steve Baker getting arrested, please. And show you this. Any libs weep over this? Dude's a literal reporter for The Blaze, and Steve Baker got thrown in prison. Here it is. Here's the video. You know, we don't even have video of Don Lemon getting arrested. But here you go. In handcuffs. He's obviously the guy with the gray hair. There you go. Steve Baker arrested. Journalist. He was there cataloging January 6th. He was filming. They said, nope, don't get to use that as a shield. Of course, every corporate media, left-wing reporter got to use that as a shield. But if you work for The Blaze or Fox, or if you were an independent YouTuber or journalist, you'd be thrown in jail. Okay? So what's going on here? Exactly. Well, it's the duality of man. It is the double standards that they wish to live by. I will remind you peanut-brained clapping seals on the left that all you clapped when Donald Trump was charged 92 times, 471 years in prison he was facing for what exactly? Saying the election was rigged and stolen? Isn't that protected under the First Amendment? You clapped. I clapped. You clapped when Donald Trump was dragged through it. You were even able to get some convictions out of it. If it were up to you, Trump would be in whatever jail you were going to build in Greenland, you know, which I think that would be awesome. In fact, to have like a little prison colony out on some ice rock. If it were up to you, that's what would have happened to Donald Trump. So shove it. Oh, sweet. Cool. Mike Davis can join the show. Nice. So shove it. You scumbags. Like, I ain't going to hear it from you about this Don Lemon thing. I've had a belly full of this stuff. You know, and like, I'm the only guy that was out here saying, like, going after Jimmy Kimmel, saying there has to be consequences for this. Did Don Lemon really commit a crime? Well, here's a final argument that you're going to need. And why don't you shove this in your bong pipe and smoke it? If Alex Jones stormed a mosque and then started interviewing the imam, and a bunch of InfoWars guys were like screaming at people in the mosque or a synagogue, right? Like if this was a synagogue and it was a rabbi that was getting pressed, you know, why is it only Christians? It's only Christians that always get like stepped on. It's totally okay to do it to us. No. We're the majority. As Tim Pool says this week, we are the boot. We're not bootlicking. We are the boot. We're the boot. We're the majority in this country. We're the only part of this country that's productive, that's growing in population and power. This is your historic white pill for the morning. Goodness gracious. I saved some of these, Klein. I'm going to send you some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to send it in. Look at this. The only population in this country that is actually making more Americans are MAGA supporters. As we've said many times, we can just straight up outbreed them. Look at that. MAGA women defy the birth dearth. Democrats are increasingly part of the childless. Republicans are increasingly part of parents. Statistic after statistic showing that it is Trump states and Trump states alone that are booming in population. Harris won the top 10 states that are losing population. Trump won the top 10 states that are gaining population. Not a good sign for Democrats of the future. And as I have witnessed here in Florida, didn't have something in Florida, Killer Klein. Isn't it amazing living here? Like I moved here approximately 5 years ago, right after COVID, 2021. And I moved to a block, and there were some Democrats on my block. We live in what we would call a purple city, okay? We live in what you'd call a purple city, and Dems and Republicans. And those Democrats have since, like, literally put Ron DeSantis signs in their yard. Like, they were like Joe Biden Democrats when I moved in. Now those people, like, really love talking to me about Trump. They love it. They're secret DeSantis Democrats. They, like, I've watched them all change their party affiliation. It's so important to live in a culture of life, to live in a culture of vibrancy and energy and victory And that's what we have here in Florida. So I say bring it on. I say bring it on. I was asked this weekend at an event. I was doing a Q&A. This awesome event in Texas. And they were like, what should we say to people that are trying to move to Texas? Bring them in, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying like open the borders, all right? But I'm saying have a strong enough culture that whoever comes in, eventually you like flip them. And that's what's happening in Florida, where we have like a million more registered Republicans than Democrats. Democrats are losing 10, 15,000 voters every single month. They've just given up because the culture is so strong here. It's awesome. Anyway, I know I'm ranting, but like we are winning. This is your historic white pill. We are winning. We can outbreed them. We can outbreed them. Don Lemon ain't gonna have kids. You don't like Don Lemon? Have 10 kids. I'm gonna have 1 billion kids. Elon Musk holding my youngest son at Charlie Kirk's memorial, going, have 1 million babies. Yes, I will, actually. Yeah, I totally will. Like, and that by the way, that's like that is something that is prescient. Look at this article. Look at this article. Article's crazy, man. Yeah. Wall Street Journal. Conservative women are having far more babies than liberal women by an order of magnitude. 6 to 7x more babies for a conservative woman than a left-wing woman. Counties, which had less than 25% of the voters opted for Mr. Trump in 2024, had a median total fertility rate of 1.31. Counties that had more than 75% of Donald Trump had nearly a parity rate for fertility, 1.84. You know, obviously you need to be 2.1 in order to grow your population. We're almost there. And what is having babies exactly? I mean, two things. One, what is our ideology of having babies versus their ideology? Let's cover their ideology real fast. Their ideology is cut your balls off. That's it. They're actually doing it. Normally that's what you do to like a conquered people. You'd make them eunuchs, but they're doing it voluntarily. It's incredible. They engage in degenerate behavior, girl bossing, sterilize themselves. The vasectomy bus at the DNC was like the most popular thing at the entire DNC. Like all these cucked beta men could not wait to get their balls chopped off in the back of a moving van through the pothole-filled streets of Chicago. Sounds like a terrible afternoon to me. Democrats were loving it. They were signing up for it. They're a party in a culture of death. They hate themselves, self-loathing. They actually don't like themselves, so they don't want to see themselves continue. They don't want to see who they are continue in the world because they actually think they were either born in the wrong body, they have no connection with their creator, and that's proven out by fact. About 50% of Democrats believe in God, 50% don't believe in God. Well, if you're that disconnected with your creator, that's where you can actually believe I was born in the wrong gender, I was born in the wrong body, I have the wrong skin color, whatever. Like, that's how you believe that. That's where self-loathing comes from, is actually hatred of your creator. Hatred of the creator and the creation. I'm the creation. Republicans, on the other hand, love their creator, are connected with God. 94% of Republicans believe in God. That's great. Work on the last 6%, but that's great. And God commands us to go and be fruitful and multiply. That's like his first command to us. And so, like, we're the ones who are following through on that because what is having babies? Well, having babies is not about genetics. Sure, you're passing on your genes, but like, you know, you can have kids that you have. It's a wide gene pool, right? You have kids. My sister-in-law was visiting. I don't know. You know, she has one kid who's like extremely redheaded. I don't know where he gets that. You know, you get like the colors of the rainbow sort of thing. So you're just not exactly sure, right? What the look's going to be. But you can be sure of one thing. And what I'm saying is this is stronger than even the genetics, is your worldview. Passing on your faith, your religion, the way that you approach the world, the way that you approach the earth, the way that you approach humanity. Like you can pass on, you can instill and implant that worldview in your kids. You know, that's as powerful, if not more powerful than the actual genetics, is passing on your worldview, passing on your religion, passing on your connection with God. And that's what it is. That's what this is actually about. This is why, and here we go. Here comes the weave. This is why it's so important to prosecute Don Lemon. Because what those Christians were doing in that church is passing and doing the most important thing in life. Something that hedonistic goblins like Don Lemon, who's 60 years old and behaving like some like little 16-year-old Twitch streamer. What an embarrassment, dude. Klein, Killer Klein, did you know that Don Lemon's 60? Can you believe that? Bro's 60. Bro can apply for Social Security. He's that old. And he's like twatting around like, don't look at me, I'm live streaming. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'm gonna go be civil rights hero. Bro, you are ready for the nursing home. What are you doing? And I ain't no spring chicken, right? I'm way on the wrong side of my 30s. But like Don Lemon's 60, bro. Walking around, harassing kids at the church. And that's exactly what they were doing. You're bothering children. Don Lemon. Pop it in the chat. Oh, okay, or whatever. Yeah, sure. Throw it up. What's up? Vasectomies rates in Democrat counties have skyrocketed. Would you look at that compared to Republican-leaning ones? Yeah, that's right. Castration. Again, it used to be what we did to conquer people. We would castrate them, make sure that you couldn't breed anymore. Now the Democrats are doing it to themselves. The hedonistic, goblin-like, blasphemous lifestyle of people like Don Lemon results in him attacking children. You know, he's going to attack the thing that he hates. Don Lemon ain't going to have kids. Don Lemon is going to attack these kids in the church, which is exactly what he did. So you got Don Lemon, who's attacking kids in church. Now, how can you say that, Betty? You have video of that? Yeah, I do, actually. I have Don Lemon wandering around saying the point of this raid was to traumatize the children. You got that? Yeah, sure. Let's do it as a throw. That's fine. Yeah, he says, I'm going to traumatize the children. Now, you need to buckle this in with the report here from the federal filings. So we're able to read this grand jury testimony. We're able to read what the case that the feds presented, that the children at this church were being kidnapped. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a law about false imprisonment, and the kids were being trapped inside of their Sunday schools. That's how demonic this all was. They were being trapped in their Sunday schools and screamed at by these orcs, by this horde. You pop up that dude screaming at the kids. I just want to give you like a little example of like what these children were facing. It's right there in the play besides. Thank you. Yeah, this is what the children were facing. Wrong one. The dude with the beard screaming, please. This dude. Yeah.
Doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters.
That dude's been arrested. His name's William Kelly.
A suit is a preacher. Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No. Jesus would dine with immigrants.
Watch this.
Touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your...
Touch me again and see what happens. It's a direct threat. These are young men. There are children in the audience. According to the federal filings, men like this went and attacked the children, kept them in their Sunday schools, screamed at them, taunted them, and then Don Lemon, I mean, here's your righteous indignation here, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Great. Fast times at Ridgemont High. Life comes at you quick. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You dumbass. Evil demons, these people. And Don Lemon was part of it. I want you to see what Don Lemon did to these kids. Don Lemon sitting there snickering, tee-hee-heeing at the children, saying they're traumatized. They're traumatized now. That's the point. Okay, here you go.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I just imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful. It's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please. Really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And so
that's what protesting is about. Well, you know what else is about, Don? You going to jail. Let's get the most important. Let's get some of the most important. What do we have, ALX? What is the? You know, I'm seeing some things popping off with new news. I guess we'll go to the Daily Mail article. But I want to get like the what else? What has he been charged with? Everything like that. So it's a violation of the FACE Act. He was charged with. He was indicted by a grand jury, charged with conspiracy to deprive rights, violation of the FACE Act, conspiracy to deprive rights, and a violation of the FACE Act. So 2 charges. The conspiracy to deprive rights would be the KKK charge. So they did end up charging him with the KKK charge. Where'd you hear that? On this show first. On this show first. Ooh. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. I love you. We love this chat. We love the audience. Chat on the screen. Chat on the screen. Chat on the screen. What up, chat? If you were locked in with our show, you knew what was about to happen. Here we go. Throwback from last week. Let's go, Harmeet.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines to do this? All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
You unpack this for us, Harmeet.
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact, that you had sheriffs and you had law enforcement harassing the newly freed slaves. So the Klan Act is a law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights, to get together and conspire to violate the civil rights. It is often used against law enforcement, but is now used against others as well. So,
ladies and gentlemen, we have been explaining that you are not allowed to do these things. Don Lemon has been sneering and smugly laughing about his role here in delivering coffee to the protesters, in kissing the organizers of all of this on the face. He should be charged with a FACE Act for kissing that face. Yeah. Don Lemon making the little boy cry. It's like the famous photo. And then you're sitting here wondering, like, yeah, there it is. Look at that. You're sitting here wondering, like, nothing's going to happen. But now it did. And this one's for all the people that say nothing ever happens. Don Lemon arrested. Where's that Don Lemon? Where's that mewling, bitching Don Lemon comment from his lawyer? It's amazing. This dude's got the same attorney as Hunter Biden. Can you believe this? Hunter Biden said he stiffed this attorney. He's got $15 million in attorney fees for Abe Lowell. Abe Lowell released a statement that had to include Don Lemon's face. Can we just stop? Can we charge him for a FACE Act that he had to put his face on his arrest warrant statement? This guy is like Star Trek black hole, the forces of gravity, okay, of the narcissism of Don Lemon. Bro, you're 60, bro. You're 60. You're this close to Social Security, getting Social Security. And you're going to need it because I think that's going to be very expensive. Little birdies tell me that church is going to be filing civil complaints against Don Lemon. Little birdies tell me that the church, City's church, is going to be making life a living hell because they have a right to file suit outside of federal court and civil court to make sure that these individuals who terrorize them, well, that they face justice. It's kind of interesting. This is actually what they did to Alex Jones. Unique. Here we go. You got to, yeah, that's right. You got to, Klein, like when I get arrested, and I'd say when, because like it's guaranteed going to happen. You're going to get some Democrats in. They're going to find something, right? I didn't tip. I didn't tip, right? And that's the waitress at the airport, Chick-fil-A. That's right. They didn't say God bless you when he sneezed. That's right. You're done. In jail. That's right. When they arrest me, please don't use it as a branding exercise. Please. please don't use it as like an opportunity to take a selfie. Yeah, please. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammys. He was actually standing right next to Busta Rhymes. So Nicki Minaj is doing TikToks with Donald Trump, and Don Lemon's getting arrested with Busta Rhymes next to Busta Rhymes at the Grammys. It's the goal. I'm telling you, it's a sacred timeline. Don has been a journalist for 30 years. Has he, though? And constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis no different than what he's always done. Yeah, it is a lot different than what he's always done. Try it at a synagogue or a mosque. See what happens. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold power accountable. And there is no one more important. Time for Don to be doing his work. Hold on. What exactly were you doing? What journalisming were you doing as you were attacking kids to traumatize them? That's Don Lemon's own words. Shine light on the truth. Hold those accountable. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, they are being investigated. Moron. This is your lawyer? This is the lawyer who's saying this? They are being investigated. Man, he's cooked. Don Lemon's cooked, bro. It is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. Unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. There it is. See how easy that is? Somebody's poisoned the water hole. Pull the cable on Woody. Here's Woody. It's Woody. Somebody's poisoned the water hole. There's a snake in my boot. This is an unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. Shut up. So obvious. So easy. Transparency to distract attention from many crises facing the administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. I'm sure he's going to be so vigorous. Yeah, right. He's going to be so vigorous, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, we're proud to have been part of the the telling of the truth on this story to keep the heat up on Don Lemon. We've had a lot of administration agents on our program. Tricia McLaughlin was one. Mike Davis was one. Harmeet Dillon was one. We were the Grand Central Station for Arrest Don Lemon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Really excited about it. Okay. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. That's because I got my Helix Sleep mattress. Sleeping like a baby, ladies and gentlemen, is very important because I got a bunch of babies at home. It is really critical that you get a good night's sleep, that you make sure that all of the health benefits of a good night's sleep are sort of baked in to your understanding of sleep. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep is critical. You have to have it for your body to reset, have a healthy metabolism. You have to have it for you to have a healthy mind and have the energy to fight the communists. Helix Sleep helps me do all of those things. The Helix Sleep quiz helped match me with a mattress. It's perfect for me. It's award-winning and chips-free. Happy Helix guarantee makes sure that you are set for life, and you also have a limited lifetime warranty on all Helix products. Ladies and gentlemen, a study found that they ran 82% of those involved saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle, and that's what you want. So go ahead and go to helixsleep.com/Benny. Call. Go there right now. 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/Benny. 20% off site-wide. Please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to a man who, well, I don't know. He's the Intel chair, right? So he probably knows a thing about a thing or two. His name's Rick Crawford. He's from the great state of Arkansas. And he's the man who's in charge. He's the man who's in charge of intelligence in the House, and probably has some fun updates for us on all of the happenings here. Let's go to the great state of Arkansas. Hello, Chairman Crawford. How you doing, man? Uh-oh. Oh, no. There we go. Rick Crawford froze. You know what? I always blame the communist Chinese. I'm just gonna do it off the top. Just say, hey, yo, it's the communist Chinese. It's the Intel Committee Chairman. I did want to ask him about Dominion voting. I did want to ask him about, oh, that's interesting. Might as well just cover this. Kara, to answer your question, Chairman Crawford froze as soon as he hopped on camera. Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna get him. We're gonna lock him back in. Here's a list of conservative journalists arrested for comparable or lesser crimes. James O'Keefe has been arrested. Nick Sotor has been arrested. Tim Jonette has been arrested. Steve Baker has been arrested. Owen Schroyer has been arrested. Samuel Montoya has been arrested. Elliot Rezick has been arrested. Good old Rick Crawford. Let me know, producers. Let me know what's up. Okay. Trish McLaughlin was on our program, banging the drum, telling us if you would believe, if you trusted the plan. Are you a plan truster? Are you a plan truster? Trish McLaughlin was saying, yo, we are going to arrest Don Lemon. Listen to this. Can you give us any update on Don Lemon? We hear that Keith Ellison, as the wife of the judge that wouldn't sign off, worked for Keith Ellison, that Keith Ellison's name keeps coming up as being so deeply involved in so much of the fraud and so much of the obstruction there. We do know that he is committed Marxists. He does promote Antifa. He's one of the most single radical, perhaps, members of the Democrat Party that exists in office today. What will happen with Don Lemon?
Well, Homeland Security is going to enforce the law without fear or favor, whether you be a journalist or self-proclaimed journalist, or you just be another one of those rioters in St. Paul. We will make sure that justice is brought. So I'm not going to get ahead of the Department of Justice, but I know that they're looking at different options here.
Good. If you were locked in and tuned in to our program, then you would know. You would know what was about to happen. I just want to point out that these arrests, can we go to these mugshots? That these arrests have been hilariously fun to look at and laugh at. When are we going to get the Don Lemon mugshot? When are we going to get the Don Lemon mugshot? When are we going to get it? ALX, I swear, on your mama, please get me that mugshot. We need to be the first show to have the Don Lemon mugshot up and broadcast. I swear, ALX was hanging out with Melania last night. We had really bad travel day. You know it's going to snow in Tampa? Do you know this? It's about to snow in Tampa. Hadn't happened since 1977. Crazy, man. You get some of that global warming? Look at this. Look at these. Look at these mugshots. Do you have the mugshot of bananas and rice? Do you have banana and rice? Look at it. Look at this one. Look at the Twinkie face. Can you click on the other, that one? The one. Yeah. Woof. Whoa. How do you even get shaped like that exactly? You look like an eraser. You look like a pencil. Like with the dirty eraser. What is that? I don't know, man. Good luck. Where's... Bananas and rice? Got arrested? This is me. This is me with the award. Got exactly what I voted for. Klein, can I get an exactly what I voted for sticker? Can I get one and I just slap it on my chest? Yeah, I can one and can I slap it on my chest? The bananas and rice girl got arrested. Well, it looks like we're trying. Looks like we're trying to get Crawford, but if we got the same problems with Crawford, too bad. I want to chat with the dude. All right. There you go. 3 little pigs. And the wolf is the Trump administration Justice Department. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know if we can jump on with Crawford. Okay, let's try again. We apologize. Hey, Mr. Chairman, what's up, man?
Hey.
We're sorry about that. You know, it is what it is.
I'm beginning to think that you're right. It's a big Chinese conspiracy.
Well, bro, it happens every time you come on and I'm about to ask about election rigging software. Yeah. And every time that is run by Venezuela and China, and then boom, So that's the only way. That's the only explanation.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. I mean, I do want to talk about this quickly, and I apologize again for the technical difficulties. But this raid in Georgia included the intelligence director, and that was kind of shocking to a lot of people, saying, "Whoa, wait a second, why is Tulsi here?" And the only reason that Tulsi would be here, presumably, would be that if there was some type of foreign interference, the same day we have a Dominion executive pleading out in court under oath saying that Dominion was actively working with offshore data centers, with other nations that were not America, that this data was being sent abroad. Eric Coomer, he's the Dominion exec. He's now admitted this in a court of law under oath, under penalty of perjury. And so you have to at some point you have to just connect the dots, and even a guy like me can do that. What's going on here, Chairman?
Well, so here's the thing with Director Gabbard is that she is a go-to person. She's a problem solver. She's a hard worker. She's somebody the president trusts. Number one. Number two, the DNI has a responsibility for securing elections. That's one of the things among many responsibilities that she has, is to make sure that our elections are secure. And number three, certainly if there's a foreign nexus, and then obviously in her capacity as Director of National Intelligence, this is something that she would want to be aware of and be involved in at the operational level, so that she's fully aware of what's taking place. And so I think what we're seeing here is historic in nature, in that, number one, there's a criminal warrant issued. I don't know the details of it. I'm not sure if it's been unsealed or not, but the fact that they're down there executing a criminal warrant tells us that what we suspected in 2020 may in fact have merit. And so for all those years that went by, where we were kind of dismissed as being, conspiracy theorists and things like this, maybe not. Maybe we're going to finally get a good look at what took place in Fulton County in 2020.
Well, you're the Intel chairman, so why don't you tell me, do you have evidence that foreign nations interfered in our election? Is this because Maduro is singing like a canary trapped in a coal mine? It does seem like if you track President Trump, after the black bagging of Nicolas Maduro, Trump was just nonstop posting about Dominion, Smartmatic, nonstop out at Davos saying, we got him, and we got the prosecution. So what is happening?
If election security matters, it matters to not only the United States, it matters to everybody else. And so I think that it's important that President Trump is leading, and I think the world benefits from that leadership, number one. Number two, I think we have to take a look at sort of the historic context of what foreign adversaries have done here in the United States. We've had a political-oriented malign influence up to and including election interference really for a long, long time. We just didn't really start talking about it until probably the last, the 2020 election cycle. They tried to, in 2016, as you know, they tried to pin some shenanigans on President Trump, and it ended up backfiring on them, where they were blaming him, this whole Russia hoax bull. But the point being that what we know is that the Russians are really good at malign influence. We know that the Chinese are really good at malign influence. We know that the Iranians are good at it as well. The surprising thing was that, as you mentioned, and this could all be coincidence. I don't know. I don't have any evidence that supports this, but as you suggested, the Dominion connection to Venezuela is maybe circumstantial, but maybe not. And so the timing of everything that took place there, we're going to find out. The best disinfectant is sunlight. And what we know is that the Trump administration has been the most transparent, the most forward-leaning, and the most effective on these issues. And so that's why I'm certain that DNI Gabbard is present down there to represent the administration, to make sure that everything is done in a transparent fashion. Not that it wouldn't be, because under Director Patel, who's executing under his direction, it's a new ball game. So yeah. It's not as if we're relying on the Biden administration to go down there and check into this.
Yeah, listen, we've got the Director of National Intelligence raiding an election center, grabbing up the machines, the algorithms, and the ballots. What do you expect them to find? That's how you know it's the Chinese. This how you know it's the Chinese. That's how you know. That's how you know. You get to the heart of the question. This is the last question that we had time for, and you ask them, and that's the real one. What are they going to find in these election machines the dirty communists have hacked? And I'm going to do a collection at church for an Ethernet for Chairman Crawford. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a collection at church, and I'm going to get broadband. I'm going to get all that Joe Biden, we're going to bring broadband to rural America. All those speeches that Kamala Harris did. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to connect more rural Americans, because no doubt Crawford's out like in a farm somewhere in Arkansas, which is an awesome way to live, by the way, and I envy him for it. No doubt Crawford's out there on some farm, and he needs to be connected. He's one of those rural Americans that needs to be connected via broadband. Okay, you know what? We tried. Maybe if he used a Patriot mobile device. Come on, it's too easy. Too easy. Okay, we got Wesley Hunt on deck. Let's lock and load. Ladies and gentlemen, if Rick Crawford was using Patriot Mobile, you'd have no problem because it's the most dependable wireless provider in America. Premium service, all 3 major networks, 100% US-backed customer service can get you connected today. It is the plan that we use to stay connected and remain connected and to fight for freedom. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny, call 972-PATRIOT, and use the code Benny for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Benny, call 972-PATRIOT to make the switch today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch it up and head on over to the great Wesley Hunt, who is on deck, ready to rock, running for Senate in Texas. Let's go. What's up, Congressman? How you doing? Happy Don Lemon Day. Happy Don Lemon Day.
It's a great day in America, brother, isn't it?
It is such a great day in America. We're just proud to be Americans. Got that energy. Klein, give me that. Get that Don Lemon arrest meme that you sent this morning. That's a good one. I want to play that for we always have a good meme for the great congressman, soon to be senator from Texas. Okay, so we had our little rant off at the top, but Don Lemon's gonna claim that it's racism that's happening right here, that is homophobia, that is an attack on the First Amendment. And what say you, Congressman?
Well, the first thing I want to say is if he stormed a church like that in Texas, I'm not sure he'd have made it out okay. So I think he did choose the right place at the end of the day. At least he's okay. Because the one thing that you don't do is you don't storm into a church while people here in Texas are serving our God, serving the God that we serve, serving Jesus Christ, and then try to interrupt us and threaten us. So the fact that he is now going to be behind bars for literally threatening people for serving God is something that I just get up in the morning and I just smile and think to myself, these unhinged liberals get up every day and they do us a favor. The first song I played this morning was God Bless the USA when I saw that news. And it's because of this. You see, if we behaved like this, the double standard would have been astounding. Every single media source would have been dogging us. We would have been put at the stake, and they would have been literally throwing stones at us day in and day out for the next few weeks. They'd have changed their profile photos to black dots. They'd have lost their minds. It would have been Chernobyl here. But you know what? We conservative patriots got up this morning, saw some justice finally, saw him being put behind bars for disrupting people, for serving our God. And we just get to smile and say, you know what? Under the Trump administration, justice is finally being served. And again, the wheels of justice churn very slowly, but they churn exceedingly fine. And I know things aren't happening as fast as we like to see in this country. I know a lot of people want to see a lot of others go get in handcuffs very, very quickly. But please know that if it weren't for this administration, and if it weren't for God literally sparing the life of President Trump, we would have a Harris-Walz presidency at this time, and our country would be in complete shambles. So when I see things like Don Lemon going to jail, I think you said earlier, this is the canary in the coal mine. There is going to be more to come, and thank God justice is being served.
So I just have something really special that we can report live right now. The Don Lemon charges. Show them to me, Klein. Let's go ahead and look here. The Don Lemon charges, U.S. Code 241, conspiracy to deprive rights, and 18 U.S. Code 248, violation of the FACE Act, interfering in someone's First Amendment rights. But wait a second, if my memory serves me correctly, this DHS update on the charges against Don Lemon, Congressman, that would be the so-called KKK Act that they charged Don Lemon with right there. 241, conspiracy against rights. So Don Lemon, radical Black Lives Matter activist, has been charged with the KKK Act. My brother in Christ, we are living in the sacred timeline.
We most certainly are. And the irony of that is just astounding. I actually didn't realize that until you put it up on the screen right now. And to think about just the distance travel in this great nation, to think that's something that was used against the KKK is now being used against Don Lemon just makes this the greatest country in the world. I've been on your show a lot, brother. You've heard me talk about this. Whenever you go back to just my family history and lineage and the fact that my great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, then here I am sitting on your show as a congressman in a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 20 points, and I won by over 25 points, and thinking of the fact that I'm being judged literally not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. And then now I have the distinct honor of running for the United States Senate in my home state, in the great state of Texas, been black the entire time while I am doing this. To watch the demise of Don Lemon and it being a statute that was used against the KKK, you see this smile on my face? That is what I call America. That's what I call progress. He could sit there all day and he could talk about how racist this country is, and he could sit there and dog whistle and try to divide us along racial lines. But at this point in our country, we're not having it. It's the liberals that are trying to divide us. It's actually not the conservatives. And I'm sitting here as living proof that conservatives really don't care what your race, religion, color, or creed is. Do you respect our First Amendment rights? Do you respect our Constitution? Do you want to uphold the values of this constitutional republic? And if all those things are yes, then get on board. That is the conservative movement. It is liberals that are walking into church while we are trying to serve our Christ, that are disrupting our way to heaven. And you know what? You're going to pay the price for it. And I love watching it every single day.
I love the way that you said that, and you did say dog whistling. I have a feeling there's going to be plenty of dog whistling at Don Lemon in prison. But you bring up a great point here, Congressman. Excuse me, I'm trying to have a serious conversation here, Congressman.
Yeah, sorry.
If you wouldn't mind.
My apologies.
Yeah, let's lock in. You bring up a great point, and I love the point that you just brought up. That it's always Christians, ain't it? It's always Christians. Don Lemon wouldn't have dared do this to a synagogue, would he? He wouldn't have dared do this to a mosque. Yo, he had to pick, and he had to do this inside of a blue state. There's no shortage of black pastors who have gone viral saying, if you tried that in my Southern Baptist church, boy, you'd be cooked. Your goose would be cooked. You wouldn't make it past the aunties at the front door.
That's right.
And I do find that that's part of this, that Don Lemon, by his own admission, was preying on the weak. They were going after children. They were going after a church in a blue district, in a blue neighborhood. And he wouldn't dare. Why is it always Christians, Congressman? Why is it only ever Christian churches that they try this stuff at?
Well, because we serve a God that believed in turning the other cheek. We serve a God that believed in sacrificing everything and sacrificing his life for our salvation. And it's we Christians that oftentimes allow this to happen because we are trying to emulate the forgiveness of the Christ that we serve. Now, keep in mind, the Bible also always talks about there's a time for peace, but there's also a time for war. And the black pastors that you were referencing, talking about protecting their flock, if anybody came into that church, is also the other side that Christ wants us to understand, that it's important for us to defend ourselves. It's important for us to defend his word, and we will not be, we should not allow people to trample our Bible, to trample the God that we serve, and to trample where we worship. You bring up a very good point. He would have never done this in a mosque. He would have never done this in other worship and other religions. And I think throughout the entire world, we are seeing Christians being persecuted. Throughout the entire world. This isn't just happening here in America. This is happening everywhere. And it's time for us to elucidate the world and let them know that, yes, we serve a Christ of forgiveness. And yes, we have to turn the other cheek at times. But then there is a time where we must defend this nation, defend the values of this nation, and to ensure that we actually have followers of Christ in the future. And if we continue to allow this to happen, then we are going to lose our blessings. So guess what? Now is the time for us to stand up and fight and to defend the very God that's willing to give his lives for us. And what I saw Don Lemon do is literally going to ignite a fire, I feel like, amongst the entire world. And I'm not going to say it's tantamount to when Charlie Kirk was murdered in public, but I will say that it raises eyebrows and people are paying attention. This is an 80-20 issue for us. People are absolutely disgusted. And if you wouldn't do this in a synagogue, if you wouldn't do this in a mosque, then why would you do this in a Christian church? And now it's time for us to have a backbone and stand up against it.
This Klein, please. There you go. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's read here. I mean, maybe we should just listen to him. Pastor shuts down Don Lemon. He wouldn't dare pull this in a black church. You know, I do wonder if there is a racial element to this, man. You know, the DOJ's been on talking. Harmeet Dillon's been on talking about this, like how like this could be potentially also ratcheted up to a racial hate crime because Don Lemon immediately went on and started griping about how this church was a white supremacist church. That's what he did that the next day. Harmeet Dillon's on my show saying like, yo, this could be a hate crime, actually, that Don Lemon, that these BLM activists were targeting a white church. And so very interesting. Yeah, they're out here. That's right. Complaining with Dylan Mulvaney's grandma about it being a white supremacist church.
White supremacy.
Yeah. There you go. Interesting. Okay.
So, Benny, can I say something too?
Yeah, please.
This is what Americans are fed up with and sick of. These people only have race. They immediately go to white supremacy. You hear it in his voice. You hear it in what Jasmine Crockett constantly says in the halls of the Judiciary Committee. It's constantly race, 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 and race. And we are now living in a world to where that's just not the case. This isn't 50, 60, 70 years ago. This is America right now. I mean, last I checked, Benny, you've been white for your entire life, and I've been black for my entire life. And I really enjoy being your brother in Christ. I look at you and I admire your beautiful family. I look at you and I like, this guy's definitely out punting his coverage with his gorgeous wife. And I think about all of this stuff, and it never comes to my mind that you're just a white guy. I see you as my fellow brother. And now the liberals can't handle this. They can't handle this kind of dialogue amongst two conservatives that just love this country. We love our Christ. We love the fact that we are patriots and we just want to provide better for our children and our children's children. And you and I don't care about race. It's infuriating to them.
You're right. It is the thing that pisses them off the most. You know, my wife and I were talking about this, and you say I've been white my whole life, but like, dude, when I got down to Florida, I was like getting sunburned. I was pink. It was not white. We changed color. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Crazy, man. I'll talk to you about it sometime when we're on a live stream. Thousands of people watch.
Can't wait.
But yeah, white people change color every once in a while. Get us out in the sun. It's interesting. But it is the way God made it, and it is something like Kate and I were talking about this morning. They're like, they had to stage race hoaxes. Yes. You know, the Obama era was almost like things were almost like people had almost gotten so over the race thing.
Yes.
That they'd lost their major chit, they'd lost their major card that they can play.
Yes.
You know, whether it's the CIA or whatever it is, like whoever's trying to stoke division, whatever deep state elements trying to stoke division and destroy the country, they lost it. Things were going so damn well through the 90s and through the early aughts, and then Barack Obama. And it's like everyone was like, okay, you know, we got Barack Obama, right? Like we're done, you know, we're finally over it. But I would argue to you, Congressman, I know you're a really smart guy, but I would argue to you, given the fact that you're a historian here, that the actual true singularity was not having a half black, half white president, which is what Barack Obama was. The true singularity, the true equality is charging a bunch of Black Lives Matter protesters and terrorists with the KKK Act.
You got it.
That is the singularity. That is true harm. That's balance. That's Buddhism level balance.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's yin yang. That's white and black, yin yang. That's everything is perfectly balanced as it should be. Okay, it's Thanos, right, with the knife.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
that's
right. That's right. This is we finally did it. We did it. Can we get a round of applause here? We reached equality. We're charging BLM activists with
Hey, brother, can I tell you something
Sorry for the rant.
about Barack Obama? Barack Obama had an opportunity to really heal this country. In fact, I think his legacy was the fact that he is in fact half black. He is in fact half white. Keep in mind, he beat the Clintons and he also beat John McCain. These are all white people. They were prominent political figures. He had an opportunity to really bring this country together, and he did the exact opposite.
That's right.
And that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. And you see, when I got this congressional seat and now I am running for Senate, my message is always to bring us together. I am not going to divide us along ideological lines. And by the way, I'm not half black or half white. I'm like all black, 100%, all black. At the end of the day, I don't care. The only thing I care about are my fellow Americans and the fact that we all bleed red. And here in Texas, we bleed Texas. That is the message that I am going to continue to bring, and the unification of this country. I will not allow us to be divided. We are one nation under God, indivisible, and that is it. And the future leaders, black, white, Hispanic, or indifferent, whatever you are, we need to be in the business of bringing each other together. And that's exactly what I will continue to run on. And I will always give you that allegiance, brother.
Can I bring someone together on this live stream as one of your constituents, actually, who's waiting in the wings to join us here is the great Terrence Williams, who's been fighting with Ilhan Omar.
I'm his
Terrence is on.
Terrence!
That's right. So Terrence was joining the show. I said,
How are you, brother?
Like, why not? This is like the best couple people you could have respond. What's going on, Terrence? Happy Friday, man.
Man, I am so glad that Don Lemon was arrested. That really warmed my heart. I feel so good today, because I just love it when people are held accountable. Okay. I don't wish harm on anyone, death on anyone. I don't wake up and just wish that people will go to jail for no reason, but I do like to see people held accountable. Okay. Held accountable for things that they actually did. See, they wrongfully arrested our great president. He didn't do anything wrong, and they arrested him. They tried to take his businesses. They tried to ruin his livelihood. They tried to ruin his family. They did everything for the last 10 years. They have tried to ruin this man just because they didn't like him. He didn't commit any crime. They made up crimes. Don Lemon actually committed a crime, and I am so glad that he is being held accountable, because that's all we asked for. That is what I voted for. So I just love to see it. Yes. Actually, I took myself to dinner tonight just because he was arrested, held accountable. This is such a great day. I love it.
I wanted to get your guys' response to Trump's latest TikTok, and you both talking about bringing people together and lots of joy and happiness and unity in the country. And this one's really special. What I want to get your take on what exactly happening. It seems quite historic.
Hello guys, I'm with my favorite president, the best president of all time.
And I'm with the queen of rap.
They're never gonna make one like him again.
No,
it's like. Terrence, I want to talk about a couple other things with you, man. But before we let the congressman go, can we talk about this moment? Because you're both on here to preach how good things are going, how much you love Trump. This is really next level.
Yeah, what? This is 2026 is starting out great. I did not expect this at all, but I just really love to see it. You know what? There are so many people like Nicki Minaj who love the president, but unfortunately, people, the left, they are a bunch of bullies. They are unhinged. They are absolutely. I mean, one of their leaders he was recently arrested on a KKK charge because the left is so unhinged and crazy. A lot of them do not want to come out and publicly support President Trump. But a lot of people love Trump. They just don't want to admit it. So, I really love Nikki. I thank Nikki for coming out. And for everybody saying, her rap music, she said this nasty thing or she said that. Listen, who are we to judge? Only God can judge, okay? And you know what? A lot of us, listen, we are not perfect at all. So I am glad that Nicki Minaj is on our side. I mean, I just really love to see it. I do. I really do.
And Benny, can I tell you something else too about the black community, about a lot of black rappers? I have had two very prominent black rappers send me a direct message encouraging me in my senatorial run. I'm not going to say who they are, but I will tell you I applaud Nikki for at least coming out and being honest and being frank about there are a lot of people, a lot of black men, a lot of black women, the undercurrent that really appreciate what President Trump is doing for this country. And the left doesn't want to talk about it, but they are out there, and I am living proof of it. And then also, just want to tell you one quick story, brother. A few years ago when I was traveling with the president on his plane, I got invited on his plane. I walked on the plane. He looked up and he said, "Where's Wesley?" He said, "Oh, Mr. President, he's coming up. He's walking in the back." He goes, "Wesley Hunt doesn't belong in the back of the plane. We learned our lesson a long time ago. Wesley, go get in the cockpit." And literally, he allowed me to sit in the cockpit while Trump Force One took off. This guy is hilarious. He has a good sense of humor. He understands history. And once people realize that, keep in mind, 30 years ago, he was being praised by the black community. 40 years ago, he was being praised by Jesse Jackson. This is a guy that went to the Source Awards. This is a guy that was in almost every single rap song that I can remember growing up in the 90s and 2000s. And then all of a sudden, he runs as a Republican, and magically he becomes a racist that hates black people. Well, guess what? Go to the Wayback Machine. You'll find out very quickly. This guy's been the same person since the 80s. He has loved all Americans. He has been hateful to all races, religions, and all kinds, and he is simply trying to bring this country together. And when you have Nicki Minaj tied up with President Trump doing a TikTok together, that's the world healing. You want to talk about a singularity? I mean, I feel like all is well with the world. We can see a combination like that. What a collaboration. It's like a DJ Khaled collab, man. It's perfect.
I witnessed a hate crime yesterday when I saw what Terrence did to Ilhan Omar. Oh my. I mean,
Terrence,
not only is
man?
Terrence doing the funniest ass videos I've ever seen, calling out Ilhan Omar and her getting sprayed with what people do shots of. I mean, it's like cleaning material. I mean, I don't get it. Like Terrence says, why didn't you engage in some type of sanitary hazmat activity? And Ilhan Omar lost her damn mind. Here we go. Let's go ahead and let's look here. Here's Ilhan Omar cursing out Terrence. This is your constituent, Congressman. Cursing out Terrence, saying, "I didn't do any of these things because I fear losing my dignity more than I fear losing my life. Something you losers would never understand, so F off." So wait a second. She doesn't want, all Terrence said was you need to wash up. He said, take a shower. And that's what she said. He said, look at what Terrence said. He didn't say anything mean. He said, take a shower. And she said that would be losing my dignity. So
she said she is not getting in the shower. That is one thing. That's where you draw the line. I'm not getting in the shower. Now this is my thing here, okay? Ilhan Omar, I have to give it to her. She is a jack of all trades. She's a congresswoman. She's a scammer. She is an actress. I mean, she can do it all. I mean, this woman is absolutely insane. I mean, Benny, it looks staged. If anybody were to spray something mysterious on me, I am running to the bathroom. I'm washing my skin. I'm going to call 911 and say, send a medical helicopter. I think I'm about to die. I'm going to wig out. Benny, I was talking to a stranger at I forgot what store I was at, but I was talking to a stranger. Yeah, it was at a store called HEB. And the stranger, he was just talking and accidentally spit in my eye. I ran to the bathroom and washed my eyes out. I even Googled, can I get a disease from somebody spitting in my eye? I couldn't sleep the whole day, Benny. I was scared. I said, now what if they got this disease and that disease and they spit in my eye? I was on Reddit and Google all day reading about people getting their eye spit in. So listen, so the fact that she didn't do anything at all when she was sprayed with a mysterious substance, you are a sitting congresswoman and some deranged guy sprayed you with something, and because of your dignity, you rather sit there and die? That don't make any sense.
You'd rather die than take a shower? All you did was say, wash your hands. And she said, I'd rather die.
Benny, Do you not know?
What you
Listen,
said. Read the tweet.
Now, this is my thing, Benny, okay? I did not tag her in this video at all, okay? No, well, not in the video that I made about her. I didn't even tag her in the post. So she saw the post. Now, my thing is this. Benny, you have exposed her for her fake winery, right?
Yeah.
And she has not even responded to that.
Yeah,
but
no.
when I told her to get in the shower, oh no. Now, Benny can accuse me of fraud, but I'd be damned if Terrence tell me to get in the shower.
Okay, so
Benny, I expected her to respond to the fraud, not to getting in the shower. Please respond to the fraud. That's what I was expecting, a response to the fraud, okay? But she said, no, we're going to talk about this showering. You're not about to tell me to get in the shower. I mean, it is absolutely insane. This woman she is a crisis actress. I think, and I believe it was actually staged. I don't care, I don't care what they find. I think it was staged. I just don't think it was real. I don't.
Congressman, this is your constituent here being attacked by Ilhan Omar. And what's your take on this?
Well, I mean, he's just speaking his truth, and he never lies. And like I said, we all saw it. We all know what's going on. Terrence is very good at articulating himself and his opinion, and I can't disagree with really anything you just said, brother. At the end of the day, she is a lot of things, and at some point there needs to be a full-on investigation into her background, how she got to this country, what her true lineage means, who she has married, etc. The amount of fraud money that's happening in Minnesota, what she has funneled to her own pockets. The list is endless. And again, the more she talks, the more people have to realize that we need to understand people like her should not be serving in the halls of Congress. There are 435 of us that have the honor of serving in the halls of Congress. And if you really hate this country, and if you really want to defraud this country, and if you really want to line your pockets, and you're somebody that wasn't even born here, yet you have the ability to serve and represent roughly 1 million people in this country, that's just wrong. We need people that love this country, that love our fellow human, love our fellow American. We don't want to defraud people. We don't want to be fake. We don't want to have staged attacks. All this stuff. Like, this is not how our founding fathers intended this to be. We need freedom fighters. We need patriots. We need people that love this country, and it could be of all walks of life. That's the beauty of being an American. It doesn't matter where you come from. You have the honor of calling yourself an American. But if you don't want to adhere to the culture and the norms and assimilate to what it means to be an American, then why would you want to even serve in the halls of the Congress? And so, again, investigations need to happen. And as I said earlier, it just takes some time.
Congressman, are you going to have, you're in charge of many powerful committees. You're going to call Terrence Williams, before Congress to testify about like what happened when he was abused for just telling a congresswoman to take a shower?
You just don't tempt me with a good time, Benny.
I think we need that. I've seen Terrence at the White House. I've seen Terrence do press conferences at the White House. This man needs to be in a microphone in front of Congress
all day.
Yeah,
we'll see what we can do.
They will never let me back in the building, Benny. They will never let me back in the building. They would be livid. But you are right about Ilhan Omar. She is, I mean, this country has given her so much.
Yes.
And she took the opportunity to come to this country, who's given her so much, to divide the American people. She has no respect for the flag. She has no respect for the American people at all. And she has taken it for granted. Benny, you have exposed a lot. Okay, you have exposed a lot. And she said the other day that she is the American dream. Ilhan Omar, you are absolutely not the American dream. You are the American nightmare. Okay, you are not the American dream. The American dream. This is about chasing opportunities, not stealing opportunities, because, Benny, from what you have discovered, it's a lot of fraud, okay? It is a lot of fraud, a lot of stealing going on. And America is about working hard, not stealing hard, okay? Not stealing money, not open up a fake winery. That is not what America is about. And as an American business owner, to see that people like Ilhan Omar and her fellow Somalian neighbors in Minnesota and commit all this crime and receiving endless grants, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, when American business owners who do everything the right way, they do everything by the book. They can't get some of them can't get a grant to save their lives. Some people have to shut down their businesses because they could not get a loan from the government, a grant from the government. But somehow people like Ilhan Omar can come to this country, create a fake business, a made-up business, and receive millions of dollars. I didn't know that's what I had to do. I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it. I was like, a brother struggling, it would be nice if a brother could steal some money, but I just don't want to go to jail. But come to find out, you can steal money and don't go to jail. There are so many people committing crimes, stealing money, and they are walking around free. So,
Gotcha.
if I would have known that, Benny, I probably would have stole a good 20, 30 million by now because everybody else is doing it, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, and it's just real shameful that we have allowed this. And now that our president is back in office, a great president who is going to hold these people accountable. I'm just so ready for Ilhan Omar to be held accountable. She says she's not going anywhere. Well, you can stay here, but you're going to be in the penitentiary, baby girl. Okay, you can stay here.
I just want to thank both of you, and I'll give you both the final word here. But Terrence, given the fact that you did bring up our expose on Ilhan Omar's fake winery, which is wild because it's not haram. You're not allowed to do that as a practicing Muslim, to own a winery or to drink wine. So somebody's going to have to explain that to me. But yes. Terrence, what you proved yesterday is that Ilhan Omar does whine a lot on social media about black comedians that make fun of her and tell her to wash her hands. That's it. This is Ilhan Omar whining. This is literally the whine of Ilhan Omar. Cursing you out. I can't believe it. I can't believe she curses Terrence out. And then here's the Chinese messing with Terrence's signal again. Okay, here we go. I want to give you both the final word here. Terrence, oh, is Terrence frozen? Okay. Terrence, you back? Congressman, your final take on this. We've covered a lot of ground here. But Ilhan Omar fake winery. What is that exactly? Is Congress going to investigate this?
We absolutely should. I mean, we have Democrats that are stealing gold bricks. We have Nancy Pelosi that has one of the most prolific stock trading histories in the history of the world that's ever existed, even better than the great Warren Buffett. We have people that are defrauding the people of this great nation by doing things and acting in a behavior that's completely unacceptable. I am somebody that's actually already signed a pledge that as a United States Congressman and future United States Senator, I will not trade stocks. I've already said I'm somebody that's going to serve 2 terms in the United States Senate. I've already term limited myself in my own House seat. Do you know why? I don't believe in career politicians. I don't believe in defrauding this great nation. I believe in service. And then when you want to go make money, you do it afterward in the private sector, but you don't do it on the backs of the American people. And so the contrast and the dichotomy between patriots like me and someone like Ilhan Omar couldn't be more vast. This is why elections have consequences and elections are important. Please find leaders that just want to serve this great nation. They don't care about your race, religion, color, or creed. They don't make excuses. They don't want to defraud you. They don't want to trade on the backs of the American people and the American taxpayer. And again, how can we move forward together as a nation? That's what we need to represent. And that's why I'm here, brother.
All right. Wesley Hunt, thank you so much it's Free for All Friday, man. It's Free for All Friday. You never know. And God bless you. Thank you so much. Everybody follow Wesley Hunt right here. He's running for Senate. And he's just a fantastic candidate. Got 500,000 subscribers. Everybody fight for the people who are fighting for your freedom. Wesley Hunt actually did that. So God bless you, sir.
God bless you, brother. Thank you very much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence fell off. I was begging to bring on Mike Davis with the 3 of them, with the 4 of us, right? That would be a Royal Rumble, we would call that. But then Terrence crashed, and then whatever. Apparently his Wi-Fi went out. Whatever. The point is that we got the great Mike Davis on, locked, loaded, ready to go, and redder than ever. Let's go. redder than ever. But Wesley Hunt said, like, yo, I was born black. I've been black my whole life. You've probably been white your whole life. I'm like, no, dude, you should see my friend Mike Davis. He's red. He's not even white.
Well, good to be back, Ben. I presume we're talking about Don Lemon today, so let's get at it.
Yes. I can hear all of the writers at Media Matters cracking their knuckles. All of our stenographers lighting cigarettes, lighting their little marijuana cigarettes, taking their ball gags out of their mouths and getting ready to get to work. Okay, so Don Lemon, we had on this program, but Trisha McLaughlin, also Harmeet Dillon, and everyone said, lest you not be unfaithful or not trust the plan, believe us, Don Lemon will be arrested. And you said that, and you talked us through what was going to happen. And hot damn, Mike, were you right? Here's your vindication moment. Let's go.
Well, I've said this all along. Pam Bondi is bold and fearless. She's tough as hell. So is Harmeet Dillon. So is Kash Patel, Todd Blanche. The president has a phenomenal Justice Department team this time around. It's not a bunch of wimps that we saw in the last term who were even scared to arrest BLM writers. Yes. Pam Bondi is not messing around. She turned Don Lemon into prison lemonade today, right? So she's this guy. I don't know if it's out there in the public yet. I presume there was a grand jury indictment here under federal charges under both the FACE Act and under the Klan Act, 18 USC Section 248, the FACE Act, where it makes it a crime to storm a church and terrorize the parishioners like Don Lemon and his co-conspirators did. It's also a violation of conspiracy against rights, the Klan Act under 18 USC Section 241. The Biden Justice Department charged these crimes regularly when little old Christians went into abortion clinics and prayed. So Don Lemon and his fellow Klansmen should certainly be charged. And to these Confederate politicians like Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, these modern day Confederates and their modern day Klansmen like Don Lemon and his co-conspirators, this is unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable to disrupt a house of worship, any house of worship, whether it's Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, whatever. It's out of bounds. It's illegal. You can't do that. And Don Lemon was so stupid that he kept doubling, tripling, quadrupling down and going on TV and basically laying out the map for Pam Bondi and Harmeet Dillon to indict him, which they have done apparently. And this idea that you're a journalist, first of all, Don Lemon's a fake journalist, but even if he's a journalists do not have a free pass to break federal law. Journalists do not have a free pass to storm churches and terrify parishioners, including little kids. Don Lemon can go to hell, and in the meantime, Pam Bondi's going to send his ass to prison.
Talk me through. Yeah, it is absolutely free for all Friday with Mike Davis. Talk me through this, Mike, because Harmeet Dillon's up on our show saying, yo, what if this was a hate crime? Like maybe it is because they're attacking white people here. And Don Lemon then goes on and says time and time again on multiple interviews, I did this because they're white. I did this because they're white supremacists. I wanted to scare white children. Don Lemon goes out and he's straight up doing interviews with Dylan Mulvaney's grandmother. I love that, by the way. I just used that with the congressman and made him very uncomfortable. With Dylan Mulvaney's grandmother, like that, I'm gonna credit you with that. Don Lemon's out saying straight up, like, wait a second, I did this because they were white. Would we be able to see, or could you talk me through, how would you accelerate these charges even further?
Well, I mean, these are very serious charges. I mean, they could charge the FACE Act as a misdemeanor, and they can also charge it as a felony when you have threats of force or violence, like there was here. Remember, they terrify. Think about this: if you have a bunch of people coming into your church during the middle of the service, and Don Lemon actually went up to the pulpit and interrupted the service, you can't get more FACE Act than that. And then Don Lemon's stupid enough to actually go on, like you said, Ben, and talk about how they targeted this church because they are white and they are Christians.
Yes.
That's a slam dunk case under the FACE Act. That's a slam dunk case under conspiracy against rights under 18 U.S.C. section 241 and probably other charges, like you said. But there's no question that Don Lemon needs to go to prison. This was the look. If he would have come out and said, look, I didn't realize that this was going to spiral out of control like this. I made a mistake. We should not do this. That would be one thing. He would still probably face misdemeanor charges. But the fact that he's doubling and tripling down and making it like it's acceptable for others to go do this, he needs to go to prison. There needs to be a deterrence factor here. There needs to be a punishment factor here. And just imagine if this were a Somali mosque in Minneapolis or a black church. There would be a whole different attitude about this from the left. The left can go to hell, right? Because it's white Christians, it's open season. They can go fuck themselves.
We've been saying, you know, in more words than that, but yes, this morning it was like, you're going to sit there and tell me that you protect the First Amendment? You put Trump in prison. We had to raid an election center. Right now, the FBI is raiding an election center in Fulton County, and you try to put Trump in jail for saying that the election was rigged. Tulsi Gabbard's up in Fulton County with his photo on the phone, black hat on, giant command centers pulled up. Here's the photograph. What's going on here, Mike? Just real fast. I mean, you've talked so much on this show about how Trump has an absolute right to call an election rigged, to say that we need to see all the ballots. They haven't shown anybody any ballots. Do you have any insight on what's going on in Fulton?
I would say this: if the election was so clean, why are the Democrats hiding the evidence, right? Why did we have to send the FBI to go get the ballots? And how would it be election interference to go get ballots that are anonymous? They've been separated from the voter ID, and you can just count the ballots to see how, see if the paper ballots actually line up with the results. Maybe they don't. And maybe that's why they've been hiding these ballots for 5 years, 6 years. I mean, the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is there makes me think that there is a foreign connection to this, because she's the director of national intelligence.
Yes. So what would that mean exactly? Would that mean, I mean, based on our reporting, that would mean that there were foreign governments that were changing vote tallies on foreign servers, and the executive of Dominion, Eric Coomer, admitted to this in sworn testimony under oath in a lawsuit yesterday, saying that Dominion did have off-site Serbian servers and was working with foreign governments, something that they swore they didn't do. So what are we to make of this?
Yeah, I mean, if there's evidence that that foreign governments used our voting systems, our voting machines, to change the outcome of our presidential election or any election, you can't get a bigger scandal than that. That is that people must go to prison if that's the case.
So this is a question that I've really wanted to ask you, like, sincerely, Mike, is what happens when you're able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that at least 10,000 votes were fraudulent, because that was the margin of victory, that Joe Biden didn't win this state, that these two senators who also won, and it was amazing. I couldn't believe, I was blown away when I was pulling up this data yesterday with Barry Loudermilk, who's a congressman from Georgia. The two senators from Georgia, they won by the exact same margins, exact same vote tallies, same numbers. It was like perfectly algorithmic. And it's like, wait a second, what happens now if you actually say there are illegitimate senators that are serving, that were not duly elected, and that this election didn't go for Joe Biden, it went for Donald? What happens there exactly, constitutionally, Mike?
It's a good question, Ben. I mean, Democrats have been rigging and stealing elections for decades, including Kennedy's. So it's Democrats are very good at this. It's unacceptable. I mean, it's truly unacceptable if, first of all, we know the election in 2020 was rigged and stolen because the Democrats violated the elections clause under the U.S. Constitution by unilaterally using COVID as an excuse to change election laws and not having state legislatures or Congress change the election laws. You can't just do that. That violates the elections clause. And remember what they did with COVID. They used COVID as an excuse to mass mail live ballots out to old voter lists, including college students who have moved 10 times since the last election. These live ballots pile up in mailboxes, in dorms, and apartments. And the only way you can stop the voter fraud is through signature verification. But the Democrats made signature verification meaningless. They turned the machines down to where it would not catch signatures that were wrong because apparently COVID changed our signatures, right? That's the tell that this election was rigged and stolen, is they got rid of signature verification. That's separate from the fact that if you have our voting machines hacked and tampered with by foreign governments, that's active war material. Like that's like that is some bad stuff. That's treason. That's active war. I mean, if people actually did this, they need to go to prison for the rest of their lives at a minimum.
We watch the president very closely. President Trump is the art of the deal, the art of the weave, the art of the breadcrumbs. And ever since Nicolas Maduro got blackbagged, Mike, ever since Nicolas Maduro got thrown in federal prison in New York, Donald Trump has been out saying, like, very publicly, very aggressively at Davos and at the press days and otherwise, bro, like, it was stolen. We have them. They will be prosecuted. We got them. And I really do wonder, since these are Venezuelan companies, if part of that is the Nicolas Maduro black bag operation, if part of this was for that purpose, to get Maduro to just like spin over all the dead bodies and say, this is what happened. And that's why they got his wife too. I've had sources tell me that. What's your take?
Nothing surprises me with Democrats. I mean, they have proven time and time again that they will rig and steal elections. They have proven they will do anything to win and keep power. Remember this. We've talked about this on your show for almost 4 years. They tried to throw Trump in prison for the rest of his life for non-crimes. 4 different times they tried to bankrupt him for non-fraud. They tried to take him off the ballot unconstitutionally in Maine, Colorado, and elsewhere. They tried to take off his head when Biden said that Trump was the gravest threat to democracy, put a bullseye on him, and underfund his Secret Service protection twice, right? They almost got him killed twice. It was by a millimeter and a millisecond, the hand of God that saved President Trump's life and really saved our country and saved the West. I truly believe that. We are dealing with demonic forces in today's Democrat Party. It's not our parents' or grandparents' Democrat Party. These are demons, many of them, right? They are Soros Marxist, China Marxist, Obama Marxist. They're demons. And we need to wake up. Our side needs to wake up and understand who we're dealing with. These are not people who just disagree with us on the best way to help America. These people hate America. They're trying to subvert America. They brought in 20 million people into our country who don't share our values, including the worst, most dangerous criminals in the world. Today's Democrats, again, with Don Lemon, they can go to hell, right? And in the meantime, they need to go to prison.
What's to happen in Minneapolis? It seems like things are cooling down now. I think that's fine. I think that's good. Chaos is a bad look. And that's the intended goal here, right? But what is to happen now? As somebody who, proudly the warlord of DC, how would you fix Minneapolis exactly, Mike?
I would fix Minneapolis by arresting Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for insurrection, seditious conspiracy, assault on federal law enforcement. That wicked witch of Minneapolis, the lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, or whatever the hell she's just a complete bitch. I would bring federal charges against all of them. That we don't have this problem with immigration enforcement all over the country, except for in these third world Marxist hellholes like Minneapolis, Somalia, Mogadishu, Minnesota, where you have these Democrat politicians who literally talk about going to war against the federal government, federal law enforcement officers enforcing federal law. That is textbook insurrection and seditious conspiracy, along with conspiracy, assault, harboring illegals, kidnapping, many other charges, right? And they want, these Democrat politicians want to put out their idiotic pawns like that nurse, the male nurse, the nurse who got shot, and then that tub of shit woman who tried to run over an ICE agent. Of course they got shot. I mean, if you're trying to kill ICE agents, you're going to get shot, right? If you bring a gun to a riot and fight with federal law enforcement, you're going to get shot. Well, no kidding, right? And so what I love about President Trump and JD Vance and Pam Bondi and Harmeet Dillon and Kash Patel and Todd Blanchard and the rest of the team, Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, they don't play by the left's rules, and that's why the left and the establishment Republicans hate President Trump and his team. They don't play by their rules. They play to win. They fight to win.
I know that you have a new hit, and so I want to go real rapid fire here, Mike, because there's a lot happening. Two quick breaking pieces of news. One from CNN. So CNN is bitching and mewling and complaining online, saying the FBI arrested a former CNN colleague, Don Lemon. CNN fired Don Lemon after demoting him multiple times. Raises profoundly concerning questions about the press freedom and the First Amendment. Department of Justice already failed twice to arrest, warrant Don Lemon, several other journalists in Minnesota. Chief judge in Minnesota said there's no evidence, blah, blah, blah. The First Amendment in the United States protects journalists who bear witness in news to events that unfold, ensuring that they can report freely on the public interest. The DOJ's attempt to violate those rights are unacceptable. We'll be following it closely. Your response to CNN.
So CNN, let me be clear, fuck you. You do not have a First Amendment right to storm a church and scare the hell out of the parishioners and do it on TV and show zero remorse, right? That is a federal crime. It's several federal crimes. It's the FACE Act and it's the Klan Act. And you, as a journalist, you don't have license to commit crimes. You don't have license to ignore the law. So CNN, again, fuck you.
The people who have attacked Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice constantly about the Epstein files. Turns out today, and this is live on the show, I'm not sure if you've been read in on this. I am just seeing it. My producers are saying, you got to ask Mike about this. Todd Blanche out saying we're going to be releasing 3 million pages of Epstein files, 180,000 images, and 2,000 videos. Whoa. That's crazy. I'm just reading this for the first time. Mike, your take on this?
This is what's so stupid about this whole Epstein thing. The Democrats had to make up crimes to try to go after Trump and take him out. They failed. Why the hell? You don't think you think it would have stayed under wraps at the FBI under Chris Wray or Comey or the other corrupt people who ran the FBI or incompetent people who ran the FBI and Chris Wray's? When I'm talking about Chris Wray is the incompetent one and Comey's the corrupt one. You think that would have stayed under wraps if Trump was part of this? These Democrats better be careful what they ask for, because there are a lot of images and videos coming out here and documents. And the image we all saw was Bill Clinton getting his back rubbed by a young girl at Epstein Island. So I imagine there are many more videos of Bill Clinton.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask, like, what do you think is in here? But now we've seen Clinton in a hot tub with some naked chicks. We've seen these young chicks sitting in Bill Clinton's lap with his arm around them on the plane. Bro, they're going to swing on Trump, and they're going to hit Clinton hard in the balls.
I'd say this, Ben. Bill Clinton was just mentoring his interns in the hot tub. That's just what he does. He's a very caring leader, and I mean, what a scumbag! What a just pile of shit this Bill Clinton is. Pardon my language today. I'm fired up, but it's just they thought they were going to get Donald Trump with Epstein, and when it's their own creeps on their own side who are the pedophiles.
It was always going to happen that way, man. It was always going to happen that way. Because you're exactly right. They went and hunted down the Hollywood Access tape. They shot Trump. They tried to put him in jail for 400 years, and Trump's career-ending file was just sitting there on their desk the whole time. No, that's not true. It's like I don't believe the op. I won't believe the op. And I'm glad that they're releasing everything. It sounds like they're releasing virtually everything when they release millions and millions of files. Final thing, Mike, if you don't mind, something that is perhaps a little self-aggrandizing here. We went viral, way more viral than I thought we were going to go, when we investigated Ilhan Omar's 100% fake winery. You know a lot about, you worked on the Hill. You work for tons of very powerful members of Congress, very powerful staff. You're the reason why the Supreme Court is center-right right now. So you understand these kind of you understand these financial disclosures better than anyone on earth. And Ilhan Omar, not only does she have a fake winery that's not haram, it's illegal in Islam to do this, but she also is claiming that it's worth millions of dollars when it doesn't exist. It doesn't freaking exist, bro. We called it. We looked it up on Google Maps. We tried to index it. It's gone. And then they started wiping all the evidence off the internet, we found out yesterday. So, like, since this went so viral, and since you're our in-house legal expert, what is going on here?
You mean an illegal immigrant from Somalia is lying and trying to defraud the American people with her disclosures. And she also went from being a third world peasant to pretty wealthy pretty fast. So maybe, the Somalis are very good at defrauding Americans and being pirates. And so Ilhan Omar has some explaining to do. It sounds like she might be as moral as the rest of her fellow Somali pirates.
We have a meme for you to send you off, Mike. Our producers actually made it because they love you so very much. And you've been such a longtime friend and guest of the show, and you've always told the truth. And so we actually created a custom meme just for you and your love of Pam Bondi. Here we go.
I love this.
Arrest the Somali man.
Oh. Thank you. I love Pam Bondi. I think she's tough as hell, and she's doing a fantastic job. And all the people who are bitching about the Epstein files can just shut the hell up. Let Pam do her job.
Here's the photo. We'll print it off for you. We'll print it off for you, Mike, and we'll have it a nice big custom print. You can hang it in your studio.
But Pam is a warrior. Thank you, Pam, and Harmeet and Todd and Cash and the rest of the Trump team at the Justice Department. They are delivering justice today.
All right. God bless you, Mike. Thank you. Everyone follow Mike. Here you go. Follow Mike here. Here's his account. 500,000 followers. Stay red and frosty, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yo, that was breaking news. That's a big nuclear breaking news. Shall we? You got Todd Blanche loaded up? This is the big nuclear breaking news on Epstein happening right now. Let's go. You know what we need there? We need some nuclear sirens, That's what we need. This just happened. Todd Blanche.
Today we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. In total, that means that the department produced approximately 3.5 million pages in compliance with the act. Just a quick note about the videos and images. The 2,000 videos and 180,000 images are not all videos and images taken by Mr. Epstein or someone around him. They include large quantities of commercial pornography and images that were seized from Epstein's devices, but which he did not take or that someone around him did not take. Some of the videos, though, and some of the images do appear to be taken by Mr. Epstein or by others around him.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting day, Klein. Here's the article. Millions of explosive new Epstein files dumped by DOJ in shock release. Now, I don't know, man. What are we gonna get? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is what we know now. ALX AI. Do we have any of these images? We got not. This going to happen later today? Okay. Nothing up yet. Happening live, ladies and gentlemen. Happening live. Yeah, I love to see it. What? Oh, great. Jeffrey Epstein says that Bill Gates got a sexually transmitted disease from Russian girls. Okay. Great job. I'm glad we all listened to this guy during COVID. Right? Really smart for everyone to just listen. Everyone's smart for them to listen to everyone's smart for them to listen to Bill Gates. Let's let this guy run all of our health and all of our decisions. Yeah. Okay. Here's a decision that I make every day. Blackout coffee. We've had a high energy show. We've been live for 2 hours, just under 2 hours. And, it's the blackout coffee that keeps us rolling. Today, we have iced coffee because I'm feeling a little frosty today. Today, we got our iced blackout coffee. We got 250th anniversary of the United States of America. They're a coffee company that's making a special blend for that, along with a number of other patriotic blends that can keep you caffeinated with the energy to fight the communists. It is the only energy that I take. I do not do nicotine patches or whatever, pouches. I don't do it. Klein does. Klein's over here. Chomping. Look at him chomp. He's chomping. There you go. There's Klein. It's like, this is Klein asking for the sponsorship. Do it. Do it. Send us a briefcase. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Klein's got that. I got my caffeine. Well, this is the way that we're going to roll, at least for the time being. Perfect for work, travel, or keeping at your desk in a go bag. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use code Benny for 20% off your first order. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Support American jobs. Drink Blackout. Okay. What a wild time and a wild day. It's been a very, very interesting one. I guess we should end on some happy news, right? We end on happy news that we all ended Tim Walz's career together, right? I think we ended this E-block. We ended Tim Walz's career forever. Tim Walz declares, I will never, never, ever run for political office ever again. Whoa. This is awesome because he's a dirty communist and an op from the Communist Party of China. So exciting. The last waltz. Boo. Let's go.
I think one of the things is I have no political consideration, will never run for an elected office again.
Never again.
Never again. And I will just do the work. And what I found is, again, I'm going to say this. There's heroes on the streets that we don't know their names. They're never going to run for office. And those grass-top leaders brought this administration to their knees this week to do something about it. So there's other ways to serve, and I'll find them.
All right. Well, there's other ways to serve, and I will find them. Well, what does that mean exactly? Prison? What does that mean exactly? Jail? What you gonna find? What you gonna find? What you gonna do, Tim Walz? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the verse of the day. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do the verse of the day. We're gonna lock in for a day of spicy news and very exciting to see what's happening. Lock in. Here we go. Never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God. For it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, says the Lord. Romans 12:19. I don't think, this doesn't mean never stand up for yourself. I think, I'm no theologian. I'm just a simple Christian. But I think what this means is don't be obsessed. Don't let these kind of things destroy you. You'll get slighted in life. You'll get attacked in life. It's best to let a lot of this stuff roll. But what has to happen, don't be consumed by it. What has to happen, though, is that you need to be strong in Christ. And you need to have your armor on. And you need to come prepared and ready to fight. That's what we do every single week. It's always an honor to have you. And it's always an honor to put together a show like this. This is a rowdy one, Klein. This is a rowdy one. That's going to be a rowdy day. So let's get to it. Here we go. It is almost noon Eastern Standard Time. We are so proud, honored, and pleased to send you off into the weekend in this one of the greatest country on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, we win. It's your boy Benny. Have a great weekend.
I can't believe you did this to us. What are we supposed to do now? I have ballet class tomorrow. Who's gonna take me? Who's gonna my graduation? Not you.
Son, you gotta go. Be brave in this world. Don't let anyone see your scars. Son, you gotta go. Be a man in this world. You can make it if you try real hard. Don't be a lemon in a world of grapes. Eat your watermelon and be a better man than Don Lemon. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the penny show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. Show come to mind. The salt from lives for fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.